and welcome to Conquering Mount Scrapmore with Brenda. I'm Brenda, and we're here today with another series on our Y Seam Wednesdays. Yes, and I had a request to show how to do Y seams with EPP, because that's one of the things that we're kind of like, you know, some people, they might be struggling with this idea and this concept. So we're going to show you that today, and it's going to be really easy. This is not hard. And you guys, some of you have already asked on how we do English paper piecing, and this is how we do it. And I'll show you how I did all my basting and all the rest of this stuff. So, but before we start this, I got to talk to you about Pola Quilting. Now, Pola Quilting and myself, we participated in Conquering Your Fabric Scraps, and that seminar, and wow, was that busy and fun, and it was wonderful working with Nikki from the Ruffle Purse. It really was, and we want to thank Nikki for that as well. But Pola, she had some very interesting, wonderful ideas, and I thought, okay, this is perfect. This is absolutely the way to go with this. So she doesn't know the shout out is coming, and she always has some fun stuff going on her channel. And I think it's important that we go give these people some encouragement. So tell her when you're going over there to click that like button and, you know, say a comment. Tell her Brenda from Conquering Mount Scrapmore sent you. That'll be so much fun for her to get this surprise shout out. Now, also, you're going to find in the show notes or the YouTube, her YouTube channel, which is important to get to. Plus, you might get, you know, like some ideas for whatever I'm working on. Maybe not today, but I mean, you usually end up with cutting instructions or PDFs or something in those show notes. That's why it's so important to get there. But you're also going to get the Zoom sew dates. Now, the Zoom sew dates are from now until the end of December. They're 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, Alberta, because I live in Alberta, Canada, or I winter in Arizona. We have a tiny little house there, and it's so much fun to be out of the snow. So we try and have those sew dates for you, and I try and get something that's fun and easy, so I get to chat with all of you that come to those Zoom sew dates. And, you know, nobody gets to sit back and not say anything. We're always, what you working on? What you working on? So there's a little bit of show and tell going on too. And if you don't want to bring your sewing that day, you want to bring your knitting, bring it. It's a great place for us to hang out. You know, it's just all sorts of fun, and the people that show up there they're wonderful. We just have so much fun. We do a lot of giggling and all the rest of the stuff. Now, I also speak for free to quilting guilds and quilting groups. It's my way of giving back to the quilting community, and I have been so fortunate, so blessed by all the people that I've met that are so inspiring. And sometimes I get to stay for show and tell. Sometimes I don't, but sometimes I do. And all of the beautiful quilts people are making all over. I am just, I leave those meetings, I am just so happy. I am just, you know, we've done this, and it's been really good opportunity for me. Also, you're going to find in those show notes the community round robin. Now, those videos, there's a list of videos as to when it drops and which channel to go to. Now, it's easy if you subscribe to all of us, all four of us. So that's Kelley for Kelley Quilts and Cruises, FutureCat New Zealand, and Michelle from Bits and Pieces. Now, Michelle is also hosting that pattern on her website. She's generously offered that, so I thought, okay, that's perfect. You know, now we don't have to all struggle and try to put a website up, you know, because Michelle's has got that for us. And that we've had so much fun doing those. And those blocks you guys are creating, they're showing up in our Facebook group, and they're beautiful. You guys have done an amazing job with your color palettes and how you're putting stuff together. I have been so impressed. Also, we have this Facebook group, and we're having so much fun in there. We do the normal things that Facebook groups do. We show pictures of completed quilts and what we're doing. But we also have all these different community chats that are joined with it. So we do fabric swaps by country. Now, Great Britain has one, Canada has one, the US has one, Australia has one, And, you know, we're trying to always get, you know, other people involved as well. You know, trying to get like a European one or something like that if we can. But I mean, we're having a good time. There's also a Discord virtual sewing room, and that's for the Facebook group, and we're just having a great time in there. It is so much fun indeed. Let's see, I think that's it. So let's get to this hand sewing a Y seam with English paper piecing. Come on in. Okay, so here we are. I've got 3 hexagons, and I want to talk to you very quickly about needles. There's all sorts of needles. I like a smaller needle to do English paper piecing, and sometimes even the hand sewing. Sashiko needles are great for making kawandis and sashiko. Sometimes, you know, it kind of depends. I play around with these, and I've got some here yet from my mom. The Clover Sharps, Colson Clarks. This is an antique I got from my mom, and they were pretty good. DMC also is good. I have really been liking the, what is this? These are your Gina Kimball's Foxglove Cottage, the embroidery wool applique needles. Some of those are really good for, and then, yeah, these ones here. The same Gina Kimball and Foxglove Cottage. Like the John James and all of these are some, you get some good needle. Don't be tempted to buy the cheap needles that come in those cases, and they're, half of the eyes aren't even rounded out, right? So this is basically my needle case that I've got, and I tie it up with a ribbon, and I should probably do another one, but I have also pieces of paper, and I have a very vintage stitching memories that I've put in here too that I just love. And it's got one of those needle threaders, and anyway, so it's kind of a, you know, this kind of crazy, I should show you guys how to do this. So anyways, so let's get on to this EPP sewing. We'll get this out of the way, and we'll make this Y seam happen. Now, I have already threaded my needle because you guys didn't need to watch me for 5 minutes trying to thread a needle, because sometimes it takes that long. So I'm laying my thread on top, let's see, on top of the needle. Hopefully you'll be able to see this, with the end on this side here. And I hold it and wrap it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You can do it less or more or whatever you'd like. And then I pull it the length of the needle. Now I try not to have too much thread, but I took too much thread on this, so that's okay. We'll make this work. So what I'm going to do, now with EPP, some people baste right through the paper, because this is a little paper inside. Some people baste right through the paper, and then once they finished all the round, they take all the basting stitches out, and then they take the paper out. I was taught by my friend Ray that I just thread baste around the outer edge, and when I take my paper out, I can just leave this basting thread in. I don't have to worry about plucking it out. Now there's some people that glue, and Elmer's school glue, you know, works well, right? It's the, you know, this kind of thing, right? You can use this or the purple one. They all dry clear. Don't use too much of it, and don't glue right on the edge, right? Because that's where you're going to put your needle. Now, so I'm just going to take these two, I'm going to line them up, and I'm going to slip my needle under a corner, right? Just like that, until I hit my knot. And then I'm going to knot, or go in the same, hopefully the same spot, joining the two 3 times, because that will give me another kind of a knot going on. It'll secure my corner, and it helps pull that corner together, right? That's important. Now I have, I could also use thread conditioner, but I'm using 50 weight Orifil, so I don't think I have a homemade thread conditioner here that I just eye cream bottle. There's other things that I've got here. It's hand sewing clutter basket that you've got to have all the junk in. Now I'm just working my way down this, and you try and keep your stitches quite close, but you don't want to, you know, be getting a lot of thread buildup either. You know, aim for 1/8, right? The stitches should be less than 1/8 of an inch apart, but I mean, you know, and you're just whip stitching. I'm just whip stitching this, so that works. Now I have made hundreds and hundreds of those hexy flowers, and some I will find them and I'll show you how many of them I made. I also make blocks of hexies, random hexies, that just I'm going to use someday in a quilt, but we haven't got there yet because we need lots of little hexies, and I love hexies. I think they're very calming, especially if I've had a stressful day. I like little hexies to work on. I just think they're so much fun. And I have a paper punch for my forms, right? So this is a 1-inch hexie, I believe. And it's just a nice little Fiskars. I believe it's a Fiskars punch. We have to do a discussion one day. And I just make like a whole bunch of these, right? I go through my crumbs, and any crumbs that are too small go back in the crumb bin, and any crumbs that are too big or big enough for this, they get taken and put into a hexie. I harvest them every once in a while just to go through and pull them out, and I end up with a bunch of random hexies, colors, but that's okay. That's okay. I'll get to use them one day. If they're in a hexie, eventually I will use them. So I don't worry about it. You know, it's kind of one of those things where you're like, okay, this is fine. Okay, now we'll just roll through. Now, as we're coming up to the edge, what we're going to do, now I'm just going to pull that just a bit. Now I'm going to go right into the corner, and I'm going to try and hit that corner 3 times. It helps pull your joint on your corner really tight there. So now, was that 3? Oh, I'll make one more. What the heck? Make another one if you're not sure. Okay, there, 3 times. So now this opens up like that. You can barely see the stitches. If I was using like a ladder stitch, you wouldn't see the stitches at all. But this is what it is what it is. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go this way. I'm just going to line my pink up with my red, and then I will take 3 stitches with this not in the way, hopefully, but it's fine. 1, 2, 3. Okay, now we're going to stitch all the way to the end, and you're going, but, trust me, it works. This works. I have a very, this is how I relax at night. Sometimes I stitch hexies. Sometimes I do a little hand sewing. Sometimes I do some quilting. I haven't done any quilting since I came back from Tucson, so I got to get to that. I got my nosegay I've got to work on still. And now I have people saying the nosegay better appear in the quilt show. And I'm like, oh dear. Anyway, so we've been working on that for a while. I have to take it out and start over again. What color am I on? I don't even know. But it was fun while I was doing it, and it's just heavy and bulky. That's the problem, because it is now a queen size quilt, and I have to, make more room for it. But anyways, and sometimes doing smaller handwork is more fun. I got talked into an applique project by my friend, and I have a hard time saying no. And it was, I believe they're going to raffle the quilt off. I'm not sure what's going to happen, but it's going to go to a charity, and I'm not sure if the charity's raffling it off or, I'm not sure what's happening. But I had to make one more block to make the quilt, and I'm just like, okay, so we had to come up with something that was reasonably close to what would fit in the quilt, because it was just a red and white quilt, and I was like, oh dear. Okay, so now we're at the end. I'm going to make 3 stitches right close at the end. 1, 2, 1 more, just for luck. Now, I don't break thread. Now I have this seam to do, right? So what I do is I make a granny knot because I'm superstitious, I guess. And I just carry my thread to the spot that I want it to go, right? So I try and get it as close to the spot as I want to come out, right? Which is right there. And now I'm going to take on this seam right here, this one between the red and the pink, the yellow and the pink. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to fold over the pink. Now I'm just to get that to lie as flat as possible, I'm going to make 3 stitches right at the intersection, right there, just so I get a nice tight intersection, because that's important. And yeah, okay, there. And now we move along, trying to keep that 1/8 stitch, but I mean, it is what it is. Hexies are useful. Like I made this out of all hexies, right? I mean, that was just a fun little project to make. I made this, and I stuffed it with stuff that I would put in a pet bed, you know, so it's like little stuffing batting and little thread and bits and bobs. There's nothing big in there, you know, and it's soft enough for a needle to go into. And of course it collects now. It sits in my hand sewing clutter, so that's fine. Okay, there we go. Just get the last of this. Okay. There. I should have taken a smaller, shorter thread. Oh well. Well, that's alright. It's not the first time. My thread is too long. This little pin cushion takes 8 hexies. And that was so much fun to do. It was just cute. You know, just a cute little project. But there we go. And we're coming up to the end. One couple more stitches. And like I say, this orphan thread I really like because it's not linty. It doesn't catch on itself. I mean, if I had to use thread conditioner, I could. But I mean, the way it comes is just so nice. Okay, and it's a 50 weight. It's the 50 weight. So now I'm right at the end, and I've done my 3 stitches. So now I just put a couple of granny knots in, right? And I go to, you know, I just move it down through the fabric, you know, random direction, pick a direction X, and I tie it off again with granny knots. There we go. And grab my scissors, and there we go. And now I have a Y seam for EPP. So here's our big ta-da moment. Now, like I say, my thread basting, it stays in the back. I pull my papers out and I am good to put it in a quilt. Like that thread now, you're not hand picking all the thread out, but it's up to you. If you learn how to thread baste by going through the cardboard to secure your piece, that's fine. And if you're happy doing that, that's okay too. I did find this thread basting a lot cheaper than the glue or the glue pens. The glue for those fancy glue pens, wow, is that expensive? You don't go far. You don't baste many hexies, right? So I have done hundreds upon hundreds of, let's say this is a 3/4 inch flower, and this is a 1 inch. These are my bucket of 1 inch flowers, you know. So yeah, I do a lot of them. And here are the ones that are just blocks, just random little blocks. And like I say, all of the papers are still left in them, but you know, they basically, you know, they'll come together in a quilt at some point, or I'll just put them, applique them onto a piece of solid, and you know, eventually they will all get used. It's all fine. It's all lovely, and there's a few of those as well. I have a whole bunch of hexies and waning. This is my 3/4 inch ones, and my 1-inch ones are here, and there's lots of them. We have them sorted by color. There's probably hundreds of them, hundreds, that from the last time I mined them all out of my crumb bins. So instead of, you know, having them go to waste or sitting, you know, doing nothing in my crumb bin, I decided to take them out and use them for EPP. But that's another story. Now, I do hope you give this one a try. It was fun to sit and hand sew these with you today, and I hope you have an absolutely joyful week ahead and things are going your way in every way possible. Okay, you guys take care until we meet each other again. All right, bye! Hello again. We just want to thank you for enjoying our video and, you know, coming along with my husband and my YouTube adventure and quilting. And, you know, sometimes things don't work out as best they should, and sometimes they work out great. We're going, wow, that went well. But it's been an amazing journey, and I'm so glad I could share it with you. Share, like, and subscribe these videos. That really helps us out, and it helps us make more charity quilts, okay? So you guys take care until we have a chance to meet again, okay? Bye!